Yes, you heard right. Get 90 days of picks for only $6.10 per day. A WagerTalk 90-day all-access pass covering all sports, all client releases, and all 5% best bets are priced at $8.49. But for a limited time, you can save $300 and lock in your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 3 months for only $5.49, coming out to just $6.10 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 90 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires. Act fast as this offer expires Sunday at midnight.
All right, guys, welcome into a very special edition, the OG edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com, as we inch just a little bit closer to figuring out who the hell is playing in the playoffs here, as we figured out who's going last night in the Western Conference. Tonight, the Eastern Conference will be decided in full. Who is the last team to enter? Will it be the Wizards or will it be the Pacers? We're going to sort through it, and who better to do that with than, of course, the original OG crew. Here they are, Ski Prophet in the house, Rob Vino here, and Tony Finn. So, guys, interesting game there last night. I got to tell you, we got to talk a little bit about the West before we dive into the Eastern Conference here tonight. Ski, I will come to you first, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you. I know Gulfstream in order today for you, but we also have WNBA. I know you've been studying here, getting a feel for that. What, if anything, do you have up at WagerTalk.com today?
Yeah, I had another good day yesterday. I went 2-1. So far, I made one play. And like you said, I've been taking it kind of easy with WNBA just because I like at least 3 games for each team to really get started and up and going. But I've been seeing it well as far as my opinions. And so far, I'm 2-1. So I look to go 3-1 today. And I'll have maybe one more on NBA after the show.
All right. So we still got plenty of opportunities to make it a profitable evening. Make sure you head over and visit Ski's page at WagerTalk.com, as well as this next guy, absolutely dominating all NBA season long. That is Rob Vino, turning things around in the MLB. Vino, what do you got going on for us, my friend?
Yeah, I'm in action with tonight's game, Joe. The Indiana-Washington play-in contest, and I jumped ahead of Friday and actually have a 4% best bet up as well for Saturday, game 1 of a particular series. So 2 best bets up and available, one tonight, one on Saturday. There is an MLB play up as well right now at WagerTalk.com.
See, always the opportunities to make it a profitable evening with Mr. Vino. Make sure you check him out. And as long as you're there, if you want to do us a favor so we don't have to hear him bitch and moan every week, visit Tony Finn's page if you would, because A, he's here right now, and B, all kidding aside, no, that really is him right now. It's not just a video. Tony Finn, my friend, what have you been doing, my man? What is going on? MLB, I know you're in action in the MLB, but what's been going on in the NBA thus far this week? Anything?
I've been doing videos, TV spots all morning long, discussing with LeBron why I'm sick of the Lakers sucking. And then, of course, I called Kobe's wife. And this is not – I hope it's not too early, but I called Kobe's wife, Vanessa, and asked her, why do the Lakers suck? And I've been hanging around baseball diamonds, doing okay on the baseball diamonds. The NBA has not been good to me. I was on the Lakers last night, minus the 5. And first 5 minutes into the game, I couldn't. There was no. I tried to call Ski, put up the S light, the save me light. I bet on the Lakers again. No answer from him. It's a good day. Good to see you guys.
I'm being tough. Vanessa just called and said, "Screw you altogether." Okay, very nice there. Let me go. Talk to me here, Ski. I want to come to you first here before we dive into this game where. Interesting market movement so far between the Wizards and the Pacers, but he did bring it up, and I want to get your thoughts. You are Mr. Laker. We had you on the show yesterday. We talked about the Lakers last night. It didn't start out well for them, but really at the end, the only thing that matters is that they are locked and loaded against Phoenix. Golden State will be playing tomorrow night against Memphis. So your early thoughts on what you saw from the Lakers last night. It was a roller coaster of emotion for you, I know, but did you get pretty much what you thought you were going to get at the end of the day from the Lakers last night, or were you surprised at all?
Didn't get what I wanted because they didn't cover. That was my one loser for the day. But in general, I mean, what I like about the Lakers is they have a lot of depth, and I like that Vogel knows how to use them. They won the game because of Vogel, because they took Drummond out, because they took Schroeder out, and Caruso was doing a hell of a job, and Wesley Matthews was a good choice to put in there as well. So I think the coach knows what to do with the Lakers, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I think the Suns are pretty fraudulent. So that's how I think that series is going to go. And that Wizards and Grizzlies, you guys know I come on here every single time the Grizzlies play, and you know what I have to say. So I think you guys know where I'm leaning in that one. Won't be with John Morant.
Exactly know where you're going there. Although, and look at that last night. Put that graphic up there last night. I mean, poor LeBron was chucking up shots in the first half. I mean, I had to compare him to Carlton throwing the basketball up because there were some air balls last night from LeBron. But he ended up, Rob Vino, hitting the big three at the end that sealed it 103-100. 22 points, 11 boards, 10 assists. Typical LeBron James playoff action. Took him a little while to get there, but we know one thing about this Lakers team. They can play some defense, Rob Vino, can they not? Which is why it's going to be very hard to bet against them in this next series, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they showed, Joe. I mean, it had to fall on the defense's lap because the offense was, I think they showed their weakness. They have the same exact weakness that the 76ers have, and they just lack three-point shooting on a consistent basis. And last night, you were unafraid to let any Laker throw up a three. I think they went 10 for 31 in that game. They were not particularly productive from that spot on the floor, and they're not going to be consistent in that way, much like I say the 76ers in the Eastern Conference. But what they did do to start the third quarter is they came out far more aggressive. I mean, you just take those fundamental matchups in that game, and you would have thought from start to finish they could dominate inside. Let's give Golden State a ton of credit for that collapsing defense inside the paint that frustrated the Lakers time and time again, for the one-on-one defense of Andrew Wiggins, Toscano Anderson, all these guys played great. Kent Bazemore, great defensive effort by Golden State. In the end, it wasn't enough because the Lakers had LeBron hit let's face it, the shot clock's running out. He had to shoot the ball. It's not a planned shot. He chucked it up. It went in. They win the game. So I think that last possession, great defense by the Lakers off the inbounds play that was designed by Golden State. But it does show a weakness if there's going to be one in Los Angeles, guys. Then that is, can they shoot the three consistently enough to get themselves another title? We'll see. They just didn't show enough of that last night.
No, they absolutely didn't, but they did show what we knew they had, which was an elite playoff-level defense, championship defense, which came out last night there. And Ski, to give him credit, man, he's been talking about that defense all season long. They may not be able to shoot it well, but, man, they can play some defense, and they showed it. Unlike Tony Finn tonight, which we will see absolutely no defense whatsoever. Guys, uncharted territory with this Pacers-Wizards game. I don't think in fact, I know we have never seen, this is the highest playoff total in at least 18 years, I think, since we used to talk about it in the 160s, 170s. We're at 237 right now. This opened up at 240. It's 237 and a half. It wasn't but a couple of weeks ago, Tony Finn. These two teams, 245, 248 and a half. We're going, you got to be, I mean, they're not just going over. They're obliterating totals here all season long. Talk to us here tonight. Total-wise, side-wise, 3.5. Is it a situation where if you like the Pacers, take the hook now, or do you see more money coming in for the Wizards at this point?
Well, every point you brought up is valid points. The totals are always going to, every single total we've seen, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but every total we've seen is pretty much followed tradition, at least when it comes to books, public, sharps, that action. They've all come down a little bit from their opening number. I don't remember one going up, even though these are pseudo playoffs, should I say? These are kind of like the postseason slate to find out who's actually going to be in the postseason. And I didn't think Indiana could do what they did, even in Tuesday's game. They were pretty efficient offensively. Maybe their opponent had something to do with the outcome. In this situation, these two teams met 3 times this year. 3-0 for the Wizards, right?
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in those games, I believe 2 of the matchups didn't have LeVert, right? Right.
Correct.
He was in 2 of them.
No LeVert.
He was in. No, they didn't have for 1. He was in 2 of the 3 of them.
Right.
Okay, that was one.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that Rob and the 3 of us have discussed all season, or at least the second half of this season, that without Miles Turner in the middle, the interior defense is dismal for Indiana. Not that they care that much about it. And this is a pretty game for the Pacers. This is a game where they get exactly what they want. They want somebody to run with them, or at least attempt to run with them, and they believe they're going to outscore you. I'm not convinced they can do that. I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to prevent Beal and Westbrook from getting to the rim much more than Boston did. I'm yet to be in this room, but if I'm in this room, I'm leaning Washington, and as much as it pains me to say, I'm also leaning north of that 240, which is a monster playoff number, guys.
It's kind of crazy, Ski, but, another thing that we have said all season long is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once Miles Turner went down with this Pacers team, LeVert's in, they go up tempo. Again, they are obliterating overs, not just cashing them, just going miles over. No sweating for an over with the Pacers or Washington, for that matter, down the stretch. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Are we looking at an over or not for you here tonight?
Yeah, that's the only way I can look at this game. I don't agree with it coming down. I mean, Pacers games in general, you already mentioned, I don't got to go into detail about Miles Turner, but just allowing so many more points per game. In their last 4 games that went over, I think they went over 11 of their last 14. Every single time these teams met up during the season, it went over. I don't see any reason why you switch it up today. I know I thought maybe it might mess up their over streak when LeVert was out in the last game, and it flew over the total. They got like 260 points. So they'll play up tempo. Their defense will continue to give it up. Washington wants to play fast, and their defense is not respectable either. It does make me nervous that Bill's not 100%, but I know Westbrook will always play with pace, so it'll be over or not for me. And from a side perspective, I could only look at the Wizards early. And I know I said I don't really want the Pacers ever, but I don't want to lay with the Wizards either. I think it's asking a bit much of them right now, and I like the way that the Pacers were playing in that last one. So lean Pacers full game, and if I played this one on the total, it'll be first quarter over 60, and it'll be full game over. Let it get as low as it can get.
I'm with you, man. I mean, Rob, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, my man. What are we going to see? Their problems have been at home. Now they're on the road. They just dropped 144 at home. What are we going to see differently in this game than what from Washington that Charlotte provided? Like, I don't get it. To me, everything kind of points towards what we're going to see here with this Indiana Pacers team. Washington looks like they ran out of gas. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they can recover from that, Joe. Charlotte looked overwhelmed against Indiana. I mean, they looked like a team that had never been to a high school playoff game before in 40 years, and then they walked onto the floor and were in awe of the lights. And, the first quarter was ridiculous. They made LaMelo Ball look like he did not belong on the floor with those guys. It took a half. LaMelo came out second half, played better, but by that time, it was way too late for that team to come back against Indiana. I find it, I don't want to, I guess I will say a little bit funny that Washington is trying to talk about transition defense against the Wizards. They played them twice within the last 30 days and 3 times since March the 29th, which is not that long ago. And boy, if they didn't know they needed transition defense in those 3 games, then they're certainly not going to learn anything now, I wouldn't think. The subtraction of 1 star in this game, Karis LeVert and Tony, I apologize because I was wrong. Karis LeVert played in all 3 games. He just only showed up in 2 of them. He had 30-plus points in 2 of them. He only had 8 in the other one.
Oh, that's
but
yep.
This 3-game series, guys, has been without stars in every single game. They get to 248 in regulation without Beal on one side, without Brogdon on the other. They get to 295 in regulation without Malcolm Brogdon. They get to 256 in regulation without Bradley Beal. So the subtraction of 1 star, I don't think makes a difference in point production. In this game for Washington, they score 100 points last game. They played uncharacteristically, I don't want to say slow, but certainly slightly above average tempo. And to all things that I read, they are going to adjust that. It's the highest tempo team in the NBA. They're going to go quick tonight. Indiana won't fight that. They'll go quick as well. And you'll probably see back and forth again, as long as you get somewhat decent shooting out of the Wizards, which we didn't get the other night. The 3-point numbers for the Wizards, and I may not have this absolutely correct, guys, because I'm doing it off the top of my head, but I think they were like 3 for 21.
Yeah, that's correct.
Davis Bertans was a mess. Beal wasn't completely right, although he looked in stretches, he looked okay. Russell Westbrook, people were, speculating maybe he was sick, but he did have 13 boards. One thing to note here is that while we talk about Westbrook pushing pace, and I talked about this with you the other day, Tony Finn, people either had their memories restored last game, or if they didn't know, they know now that Ish Smith is the second rocket ship on that team. He might have been faster than Westbrook in that game. So the pace never ends for Washington, no matter who's on the floor. I could only play it one way, total up and over. I don't care if you play first quarter game, like Ski said, first half really doesn't matter to me. I think they're all going to be correct. And I think I lean Wizards in the end. I just think when push comes to shove, they might be able to make a couple defensive stops that Indiana can't. But we'll see. Washington's 3-0 against them this year. Can they beat them 4 straight times? I think they can.
So it's interesting, too, guys. We'll note on the market movement here, not only has the full game total come down from where it opened, so is the first half total opened up somewhere around that 122, 121 and a half, 122 mark. That, too, down to 119, 119 and a half in some places. So interesting that the market continues to push both the first half and full game totals down with 2 teams that love to take it up tempo. And if you're expecting more efficiency out of the Washington offense, this is going to be a very interesting game here tonight. So before we pull it, whether it be a side, a total, a quarter, a prop, whatever it is that you guys want to throw out there tonight for a best bet, I do want to also ask you guys from a series perspective on what we are about to see. Some of the numbers are out. Miami Heat, Bucks, Dallas Clippers, Portland, Denver, Boston Nets, and, of course, the Knicks, Hawks, and now the Lakers taking on the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the biggest dog is the Boston Celtics here, guys, but I'm looking at the Mavericks at a 3-1 underdog and the Miami Heat plus 255. I'll ask you guys, along with your best bet, what's the best dog in a series price do you guys think has the best chance of upending the favorite here? Ski, I'll start with you, man.
Best dog. Let me just look at the prices. Let me go last. Let me glance at the prices really quick.
All right, you got it. Tony Finn, I'll come to you here. I know you didn't like the Lakers to start off this show. Do you like them even less against the Phoenix Suns? Does Phoenix now as a plus 120 dog as the money continues to come rolling in here? What do you think? What do you think about the Phoenix and Lakers series price here? Do you think Phoenix gets it done?
Well, unlike Ski, in the statement he made that he believed that Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns were frauds, I respectfully disagree with that. There's a couple things that they do. Listen, they have their holes, like any team, like the Lakers, who have some holes right now, even though I think they're a head and shoulders better than they were last year, at least as a whole, as a team, especially in the second rotation. the Suns take care of the ball. They, Rob and I, we talked about this on the pub show in the afternoons the last couple of days, that if there's one thing the Suns do really well, they don't turn the ball over. They take care of the ball, which means a lot in postseason basketball. It's a more intense. It's supposed to be more defensive heavy, although I'm not completely convinced that's the way it's going to be. Even the Lakers, I curse the Lakers, guys. I curse them. But I think all of us would agree that everything Golden State threw up in the first half, even when they were guarded or unguarded, you could just see it. It was just going in. And while the lead wasn't big enough, the Lakers have to be more intense from the get-go. The Lakers did not dominate inside like I expected them to yesterday. And the fact is, if there's a hole for Phoenix, it's the interior defense, interior scoring, et cetera, et cetera. Ayton is that guy there really in the middle. They depend on not only to protect the rim to some degree, but to score in the paint. And if the Lakers were unable to do any real damage to the Warriors inside, who are even less than Phoenix, then you better be careful if you're a Lakers fan, because the Suns will come to play. They won't turn the ball over, and they're capable of beating the Lakers in 7 games. It's to call them a fraud is, I think, dangerous and irresponsible. I would be on the plus money in any series the Lakers involved in until they show me something different. That's success.
I'd call the Phoenix Suns an underdog, because that's exactly where they are in the series at plus 120. So I think we know where Tony lies there. How about it, Rob Vino? Give me a dog from a series perspective coming up here that you like, and which way are you leaning to tonight in this matchup?
Well, I think the one that we'll most commonly hear, Joe, if we haven't heard it enough already, would be Miami against Milwaukee. I think a lot of people are skeptical of the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs, rightfully so, because they haven't shown us yet the ability to get to the destination that they believe they can get to. I mean, it's why Giannis stuck around and didn't go somewhere else. He's in Milwaukee because he believed the additions they made in the offseason, including one Drew Holiday, were going to make a difference in this playoff run. So to keep myself from being, or for reiterating what we're going to hear a lot of with where Miami's concerned, let me ask you this. If Denver is a minus 120 favorite in the series, does that make Portland an underdog?
Yeah.
And give me Portland. I mean, I know it's only plus $1. Most shops are going to take the 20-cent vig, but I think Portland has everything it takes to match up here. I think they've gotten over the hump of not being able to defeat elite teams. And I think that when push comes to shove, the Jamal Murray injury, if it's ever going to show up, will show up at playoff time, at crunch time, in close games. I know that they can still go to Jokic. We'll see. It looks like Michael Porter Jr. is developing into one of those guys. We'll see if they can count on him in the clutch. But after that, I'm uncertain with this team as to where they would go in close games. And this figures to be a close series. On the other side, I know I can go to Damian Lillard. I know I can go to McCollum. We talked a little bit in the past about the relationship of Lillard and now I'm spazzing on the center's name for Portland.
Nurkic.
And that pick and roll, right? That Lillard and him have worked so well the last month and a half, a month of the season. So I think Portland, Joe, plus $1 would be pretty good. I know they don't have home advantage, but I would look that way. As far as tonight goes, again, I would just say what I said earlier. I understand that the numbers come down in the total, but I think that's more narrative than it is fundamental matchup. I think the playoff narrative is, and this is a do or die game, right? So they have to come out and play a little more defense and have to play a little slower, but neither team, you can't do what you can't do. You have to do what you can do to win a game. And what they can do is go up and down the floor. So give me the over in that game in any way, shape, or form.
Love that, Rob. And Ski, I'm coming back to you. I mean, call me crazy here. Outside of the Celtics-Nets, which is obviously, from a series price perspective, it's all Brooklyn all day. We get that. I mean, the Celtics are running a 6.5-person rotation. So, I mean, at some point, that's going to go away, and that's going to cost them. But every one of these other dogs from a series perspective, Ski, flip a coin here, man. I mean, this is it's pretty crazy when you look at this and you look at these numbers right now with the first-round matchups.
I think it is pretty coin flippy. So first, I'm gonna stay with the same series that Rob talked about, but I'm looking at it a little bit different. And first, I was looking at Portland and just thinking like they're a much more talented team. Like you said, the matchup with Lillard versus Campazzo, et cetera, et cetera. But I see the Nuggets as the dog right now. I see the Blazers as minus 123 on the series.
Yep.
And Nuggets as the plus 103 on the series, and Nuggets favored in the first game. And that don't really make any sense to me. Look at Jokic is probably going to be the MVP. Portland doesn't have anybody that can stop him. Portland doesn't stop anybody. They don't play any defense. And so I think the Nuggets will be okay as far as scoring wise. They played Blazers the last game of the season. They didn't care. Before that, they played them a game in games that Portland needed to win, and they won. The Nuggets beat them they had Lillard, they had McCollum, they had everybody, and the Nuggets won. They played them another time before that without Murray. Nuggets won again. So Nuggets are capable of beating this Portland team. I think it goes through Jokic, and that would probably be the dog that I pick. As far as what Tony Finn said, you can bet me, bro. I'll give you whatever plus money they offering. Phoenix is not beating the Lakers.
As soon as I get my crusty Lakers jersey, I'll bet you.
I knew it was coming. I knew it. I knew it was coming. It was a matter of time, Vino. I just knew
you and Nostradamus, you and our host Nostradamus, both. Give me my jerseys. Give me my money, bitch.
Is it a double or nothing? What do you think? You want that nice hooded sweatshirt you got on right now? What do you think?
Why not? Let's double or nothing every single game until you win. May not be till next year, but I'm in.
All right, well, there you have it here, guys. I do want to, it's late, but I do think it bears taking a look at because most of these guys will be with our good friend John Ryan shortly. He does have, and I got it, Robert. That's all right, I got it. Leave it on. There you go. We've got an angle of the day here from our good friend. Late, but better late than never, right? John Ryan over at Sportsmemo. And I bring this up because it's interesting. His angle of the day has to do with betting the under in games with a 230-plus point total. The team coming off a blowout double-digit loss, and the opponent has scored at least 115 points in 2 straight games. If you put it all together, he's talking about the under in the Washington-Indiana play-in game tonight. And I know I speak for all of us when I say, oh, hell no, am I betting an under in this game? You're out of your mind, John Ryan. Although we do appreciate the effort, my friend, in sending us the angle of the day. So what we'll do is recap it one more time here. I don't know, actually, if Will has the recaps, because I'm not even sure where the hell we were on all of this. Outside of ski, Lakers in the series, screw you, Tony Finn. We're all leaning, I think, Miami at some particular point to take down Milwaukee. But Portland, nobody asked you. See, that's the whole point. Nobody was asking you directly, so nobody cared.
No Miami.
Portland, also interesting enough for Rob Vino. But I do think when we're looking at it across the board for tonight's game, man, it's going to be tough to go under. You do, like Rob said, right? You can't do what you can't do. Do what you do best. Score some damn points here, and let's go over first quarter ski as well as first half. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Tony Finn, you looking, if it recall here, if you're going to look one way, you're not, you said you didn't dip your toe in it. I don't know what that means. I'm afraid to ask. But if you were dipping, you dip in Indiana. Is that correct?
Depends on what? Indiana? No.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
if I'm in this room, and there's still a chance I'm in this room.
Okay.
If I'm in this room, in this ring, I'm in the corner of Washington and the over. I listen. The over is not as everyone. We all talked about it. I love the over in this game. All they have to do is do what they do best, and that's, wave their hands in the air, act like they're playing defense, and then when somebody shoots, they just yell, "Miss it, miss it, miss it." They don't play. That's what they do. That's their defense. So yes, over.
We got there.
I don't
we're going to go over as well there. Appreciate that. All good stuff. Well, one thing I do know for a fact, despite being totally confused by Tony Finn, is that best bets are locked and loaded. Not only Rob Vino, who is up and ready for tonight, he has got a play ready to go at WagerTalk.com. Tony Finn, MLB, ready to go here tonight as well as maybe a little something dipping of the toe in this game here tonight. And do not forget, you've got at least one more probably from the NBA coming your way from Ski Profit. So all three of these gentlemen, the original OG crew, ready to go here tonight and make it a profitable Thursday night, not only in the NBA, but across the spectrum here. I want to thank our good friend, of course, John Ryan, as well, for sending us the hell no under of the day. Ain't no way I'm playing an under tonight. Washington, Indiana. Your angle or no angle, John Ryan, ain't happening. But I do want to thank you guys. I want to invite you also tomorrow. Come by as we have a very special edition. One game tomorrow, that being, of course, Memphis going to be taking on the Golden State Warriors, who will advance to take on Utah in the Western Conference. We'll talk about that game. Plus, we will take a look ahead to Saturday's Game 1. And we'll do it with an all-star crew here as we welcome all the guys back tomorrow here. We'll have a roundtable going through not only tomorrow night's game, but, of course, Saturday's games as well. So a lot to get to. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure you subscribe. And more importantly, make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow as we get ready for the start of the NBA playoffs on Saturday. We've got you covered. So on behalf of Ski, Rob Vino, and Tony dipping his toe in the Washington Generals, Finn, just waiting to see what he says on that. Guys, good luck tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow. Best of luck with your plays. We'll see you then.